All right. So Elon Musk, for those of you who don't know, the richest man in the world, Elon Musk, who has spent hundreds of millions of dollars to try to elect Donald Trump, has been involved in the fraudulent, unnecessary, and ethereal Department of Government Efficiency, firing people left and right, is leaving the Trump administration. Elon Musk is stepping down from his position at Doge to attend to his failing businesses, like Tesla and SpaceX and everything. Oh, I meant to bring a clip on this. SpaceX had another launch, I think yesterday, where the rocket went up and spun out of control and exploded. It's like the third one in a row that exploded.
Another one.
Yeah,
like DJ
great.
Khaled with exploding rockets. Another
exactly,
one.
Yeah. Another. Oh, that's great. That's a good one. But yeah, Elon Musk, everything's falling apart. His shareholders are freaking out, and he's stepping back. And he's saying that, he's upset with Trump's bill, the one big beautiful bill, because I don't have the number in front of me, but the one big beautiful bill is going to increase the debt by trillions of dollars. And he spoke out against Trump, saying that I don't think this is right. And I think the next day he decided that he's stepping down on this. So, John, are you going to miss Elon hanging around the White House? And do you think it's going to have any effect?
I mean, yes, I am going to miss Elon hanging around the White House just because he's a hilarious person. We might as well laugh at our destroyers. But and to be clear, he's not like hilarious because he's a funny guy. He's hilarious to just witness in action. But I do want to take issue with this framing that I've been seeing going around of Elon is stepping down in order to service his businesses, his shareholder pressure. I'm sure that is part of it, right? But this has been this started when he heavily invested himself into that Wisconsin Supreme Court race and lost badly. That was the start of Elon being pulled. That's where all of this started. And now we've kind of ended where he's officially not part of the administration anymore. But he got fired. I want to be very clear. Elon Musk did not quit. He got fired. And I think it's very important that we remember that. Yes, because he was if this was a situation where Tesla stock tanked and he said, I'm stepping back, I'd be like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. He didn't. Tesla stock fucking tanked. Shareholders were pissed off, but Trump was like, you're my boy. And Elon was like, I'm staying. It was not until that Wisconsin Supreme Court race that you started seeing him being treated differently in the White House. And that was the beginning of this trajectory that he's been on now, where he's like, now I'm out of here. I want to be very clear. If Trump wanted him there, he would still be there.
Well, because then why is it that doesn't feel like how it's being presented? And why is it that Trump isn't oh, he's so terrible, I'm kicking him out? Because I feel like that's always the rhetoric. When he gets rid of somebody, he's like, oh, I thought he was good, but turns out he's the worst person ever. Oh no, good thing I got rid of him. But here it feels like he's like, oh no, he was doing great. And Elon's like, yeah, I wish him well, but I've got this other stuff to do. It feels weird to me.
And this is the disappointing part for me, Heather, because me and TJ, when this whole thing started, we said this only ends badly. The kaijus are going to fight, right? These two egos cannot coexist for long, and we were right about that part. This Elon to Trump partnership lasted 6
3
months.
months. 6 months. I'm saying, election,
even before the election, right? Or even before the inauguration. But they found a way out of it like good businessmen, unfortunately. Where Trump he's just like, oh yeah, I'm not going to talk about it. And Elon's like, oh yeah, I'm going to scuttle away because it's in my business's best interest. And they found this out. Unfortunately, it wasn't an ego clash. It was this isn't working out for either of us sort of thing, and we're going to part ways. Unfortunately, they somehow had the wherewithal to figure that one out. I'm very disappointed it wasn't a fight. But that's kind of what happened.
It seems freakishly mature. That's why I feel so confused.
It does. It is strange because Trump, if Trump smells any sort of distrust or failure or anything like that, he goes on the offensive. And the fact that he hasn't done this to Musk is kind of strange. So I don't exactly know. I think maybe Elon has figured out before Trump that his value isn't as strong. Maybe it's that's the case because losing the election, that was a big blow. He spent millions of dollars trying to get that judge elected in Wisconsin, for those we're talking about. And not only did Elon's candidate lose, his candidate lost in wider margins than all other Republicans in the state. And it was really embarrassing for him and all that. and his businesses are falling apart. Trump did that pathetic commercial for Elon outside the White House, and Tesla stock didn't, raise back to normal and everything. And then Elon is disillusioned. At least he says so. I don't think Elon actually believed that the Republicans were going to lower spending. I don't think he's that stupid. I don't buy that.
No,
for a
I think
second.
he actually believed that, TJ.
You do,
I think
really?
I think Elon Musk genuinely believed that he was there to do a job. I genuinely think that. I don't think he was under any illusions that they were going to touch like the military budget or anything. I don't think he was that dumb. But I think that he thought, like, he did a lot of work there. Like, he was engaged. He was on site. He was on site at these fucking places more than I've ever seen him at fucking Tesla. Like, there's I think he was trying to do.
He was really trying.
Yeah.
Bless his heart.
Yeah,
and he couldn't make it work.
You know what they did? They, when you're a kid and your little brother wants to play video games and you give him the controller that's not plugged in to make him think he's playing. That's what they did, Elon. Like, here you go, Elon. Take the controller that's not plugged in.
This is just a sham.
Yeah,
I'm going back to my Tesla.
Yeah, and so I assumed. So John, I'm surprised to hear you say that because I assumed Elon did what he always did, in which he overpromises, and saying underdelivers is kind of an overstatement. It just doesn't deliver anything at all. It just doesn't show up. That's what he's done with his self-driving vehicles, his autonomous robots, his Mars missions, his rockets. Every time, I thought that's what he was doing when he said that Doge is going to save us $2 trillion. That's a terrible South African accent, but Doge is going to save us $2 trillion. And then he sheepishly goes to the press conferences at the cabinet meetings and saying, if everything goes according to plan, we're going to save $150 billion, like being off by an entire order of magnitude and saying that with a straight face. Like, I think that I thought that he was just lying and knew he was, but that's interesting to think if he really thought he was going to do it and then step down. Either way, I can see a scenario in which Elon says, okay, I'm out. This isn't working out like I planned. Trump could have fired him, but I'm not sure. What do you think, Heather?
So, I guess, again, I feel bad because, like, I don't really know much about Elon Musk and like to the extent that I wish I did to see his patterns over the long term.
You do not wish that you did.
I was thinking the same thing. The less you know, the better.
Think about Elon Musk way too much. You don't want this life.
Because, like, my question is, so he's the richest man in the world, but it sounds like his ancestry, like, probably spoon-fed quite a bit of that to him, kind of like with Trump. His grandparents, his parents, like, they became successful. They passed on the generational wealth to him. He was also born the right race in an apartheid system, And so, like, he got a lot of lucky breaks, and he had a lot of advantages that most people don't have. But he probably does genuinely have some talents and abilities and intelligence if he is, like, the most whatever successful guy in the world. I'm assuming that. And so, like, maybe his success sort of has been spoon-fed to him, though, to some extent. Like, maybe he is smart and he would have made it, like, to a mid-level management position if he had just been born like some average guy without all the money and stuff. And now maybe he's finally been like, oh, I'm giving way too much credit. Oh no, this is my best guess for this poor guy.
No, John. I don't know if John will agree. So yeah, you're right about, like, pretty much everything there. Elon Musk was born to a wealthy family in South Africa. Oh, go ahead.
And I think he has autism spectrum 1 disorder.
Who knows? He
also,
claims
like, that maybe he doesn't totally understand. He does not see the world in the same way exactly as maybe everybody else around him tends to. And so then he gets here and he's like, oh, I am brilliant. I am the most successful businessman in the world. And this country I love and care about, maybe really genuinely he does. Because he could have stayed in South Africa, or any other country. He's like, I can help. I can make this better. I can do a really good job. And then he got in there and he's like, oh shit, this is just a joke. Trump doesn't care about making this better. He just is trying to, like, enrich himself. And, like, this is not actually going to make any difference. I'm seeing the numbers and I am smart enough to know now I can't succeed at this. And I'm out. Like, is that maybe or no?
So, yeah, you were right about everything about how, he was born in a wealthy family. His dad owned an emerald mine. He was flying on private jets while he was in high school. I think that if you were going to say, Elon, like, I would say Trump is skilled, like the intelligence Trump has, is that Trump is a generational con man. Elon Musk is even better. Somehow, like I get how Trump's a con man.
As a con
Elon,
man?
yeah, and also Elon Musk, I will say he's a good gambler. Like that's honestly how Elon Musk made his wealth. Not gambling like at casinos or whatever, but
Like
he sinks.
speculating?
Yeah, he sinks his money into companies that he thinks are going to be successful or already successful, and maximize the profit out of that before moving on. And then he hypes. He, like, you guys know, and Elon's not the only one who does this. Like, you ever see these commercials for those humanoid robots, and they're moving boxes, they're driving cars, they're building shit. How many years have we seen commercials for these robots? I feel like the last 10 years we've seen. Have you ever seen one on sale? And the answer is no, you never have, because these companies run on hype. They don't actually run on products. They run on releasing videos saying, hey, look how cool this robot is. And you get a bunch of people to invest that for a product that never appears. Elon Musk is great at that. And so that can get you really far in these tech industries when people are all salivating over the next new technology. But it doesn't really get you far when the rubber meets the road and you need to show results in Washington. What do you think, John?
Yeah, so I think that there's a couple things going on here, and it's all incredibly very interesting. So how do you talk about, we all agree he had all these advantages, right? And you said if he was born like a normal person, he would have become a high-level middle manager. Fuck no. What makes him successful only works at the highest levels, right?
Oh.
So and again, I will not say that Elon Musk is smart or dumb, but have you ever seen Hidden Gems?
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry.
Right? You haven't. So you have, but in this movie, Adam Sandler plays a
great movie.
Jewelry salesman.
Oh, I have seen that. And he's
Yes.
with like this really young, beautiful girl, and he's like old and gross. And
Yeah. And so the whole movie is him essentially hustling constantly to pay off one debt and acquire money from this place and call in this debt. And he's like on the run from the mob, all these things. And the whole time you're like, this is so stressful. These high risk decisions this person keeps making are so stupid. But the ability to scramble and get money from Peter to pay Paul while constantly building his overall wealth, influence, and power takes a very strong level of intelligence, while he's also an idiot for taking these risks. And I won't spoil it for anyone, but it doesn't go well for that character in the end. It doesn't go well for people who take that approach to life and gaining wealth of, hey, I have this money, I'm going to constantly shuffle everything around to constantly grow, baby, grow, steal from Peter, pay Paul. It's a fucking Ponzi scheme. And that is what he's doing. It's a legal Ponzi scheme where he's constantly hyping up the next big thing, getting people to invest in it to be able to pay off other things. He did it with Twitter. He hyped up the AI, Twitter AI, XIA, whatever the company's called, to the extent where it got larger market share than Twitter so that he could then buy Twitter with that company, because he over leveraged himself on Tesla stock to buy Twitter. So then he pumped up this new thing and then use that to secure his over leverage so he doesn't have to sell Twitter when Tesla stock goes down. This takes a high degree of knowledge and execution, but is also incredibly stupid at a lot of the same times, because it's going to end in ruin most of the time, but you have a pretty strong ride while you get there. Trump, on the other hand, his intelligence is he just knows people. He communicates very well with people. And like his intuition, his gut instinct, his con man salesman instinct is so strong that he used that to succeed. And he's dumb in other ways, but he's very smart in that way. So I hate when people say, oh, Elon Musk is an idiot, just straight up across the board, or Donald Trump is an idiot. No, they have high degrees of intelligence in different areas. But when people say, oh, they're rich, so they must be smart, that's not necessarily true either. Because they're dumb in a lot of fucking ways. But they have the opportunity to maximize their type of intelligence that works for them.
But it's like lots of people are born rich and they don't become the most successful person in this field or the president of the United States. So that's why I'm like, there's something exceptional there.
Most people who are born rich do not have the level of risk tolerance that Elon Musk does. Like Elon Musk, I think Twitter is the perfect example. He leveraged the fuck out of his Tesla stock to to the point where if it dropped below a certain point, he would be forced to sell Twitter and take a multi-billion-dollar, but tens of billion-dollar bath on the fucking sale, right? And that is a level of risk that most people are just not willing to take. A fiduciary would tell you that you should not do that, but he does. And when you take big risks, you can make big wins. You can also have massive losses. But that's why TJ said the gambler. He's a great gambler. And it takes a certain amount of luck. Elon could have failed at this point.
A con man, I guess, too. Because like
yes, exactly. Yeah,
it's the same. Is a con.
It is. Yeah, it is. It's like, and I say this about Trump too, that I don't respect Trump as, a person of high intelligence or high integrity or morals or anything like that. But I do respect the fucking audacity to do what he does, and his commitment to the bit. That especially now, Donald Trump, who has never had to do any of this. Like, he didn't. Like, he did it all out of spite and ego and pride and everything. He could, like, Republicans are right when he could have just, been Donald Trump and just lived the last years of his life as Donald Trump. But especially now that he's won the presidency a second time, he can't run again. He's won. He's going to die a winner. Fucking day he puts on that ridiculous blue suit, the same one every day, like a cartoon character.
It's on the fucking makeup, does his hair,
puts on the orange makeup, the blonde hair, and the high-heeled lifts and the girdle, goes out there and gives the folks what they want to hear. He doesn't have to. I wouldn't. If I had won my second election, there's no fucking way I'm going out there and spouting the hits to all these folks. Say, nope. I'm going to do my job. I'm going to get the shit done. I'm going to do interviews when I have to. But he seems to actually enjoy it. And another guy committed to the bit, John, I don't know if you saw this, but Elon Musk, I saw this today, that Tesla has begun testing driverless robo-taxis in Austin ahead of their June 12th launch. Elon Musk is actually going to launch these driverless taxis. I don't know why he keeps doing this when I stop sharing it.
I'm changing the layout because I didn't set it up properly.
Oh,
so I'm just doing it live.
Okay, fuck it, we'll do it live. But I want to make my prediction right here with Tesla's robo-taxis being launched in Austin. He has been predicting these things for, I think, 15 years now. And his technology, from everything people have said, is behind everyone else who's done this. The cameras are worse, the sensors are worse, the radar they use is worse. My prediction here is what's going to happen. He's going to release these robo-taxis, and they're going to be on like a closed route. Like, basically, hey, the cars can only operate between these roads and this road. You can't just use it in Austin anytime you want. And essentially, it's going to be like a worse version of public transportation. I'm only basing this on what we saw with the Hyperloop. John, you remember how that turned out when he did the Hyperloop thing and it was just a tunnel underground?
Yep.
It's going to be something like that. And it's probably going to fall apart. There's going to be injuries. Like, can this and save it for 3 months from now when this comes to pass, but there's no fucking way he actually has robo-taxis ready to go. And I think that's another reason he stepped down too. He wants to be able to try to walk through the disaster that's going to happen here because they're going to need his face up there.
So TJ, there's one last point I want to make here because we have like a little awkward amount of time, enough time to for full topic.
Sure.
So I want to present a question that I think it jumps off of this, and I think is very interesting, and I haven't heard anyone else talking about this. Also, I'm desperate to make a pop culture reference that Heather's going to get, right? So
okay, let's go.
So we've talked about two people today, Elon Musk and Donald Trump, that are super rich, super successful. They don't need to do this political grandstanding, but they have this just deep-seated audacity. They are fighting this fight. What makes Elon get up in the morning is to win this culture war. He wants to look cool on Twitter. Donald Trump, he wants to win these wars in his head. And I get it. As someone who fucking does that, I totally get that. It motivates the fuck out of me. I will ignore things that are important in my real life to win some argument with some random stranger on the fucking internet, right? And that's just how I'm built. So I completely understand when rich assholes do that. Another great example, J.K. Rowling. J.K. Rowling could have sailed off into the sunset as a widely beloved fucking children's author with billions of dollars, but she got really hyper-focused on this trans issue and just lit her fucking reputation on fire. And now all she fucking does is talk about trans shit online, right? And this is a well-known phenomenon. You can probably look at a lot of conservative people who are exactly like this. Think Kid Rock, think fucking there's a couple others where it's just like you're rich and famous and no one's
Clint
gonna have a problem with
Eastwood.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a
All of a sudden you're just deciding to fight this fight that you didn't need to fight. Very different than the person who wasn't that successful, got canceled and
Yeah.
grifted to the right. Very different. We're talking
Right.
about things here. So my question is, where the fuck are those people on the left? Why are there not any successful, famous, they could do whatever they want in life people who get really pigeonholed on like an issue and just fight to the fucking death in online political discourse for it, and then end up rising to actual political prominence? They haven't done that yet, but why hasn't it happened at all? Like, I can't think of a single person that has done that on the left. You might argue that they get their pet projects, like fucking, like, you know, save the earth or whatever. That's different. They're trying to support a cause in that case. I'm talking about people who make it their life's personal mission to say, I don't care about my billions, I don't care about whatever. I'm going to fight this fight online with random strangers, and that's what I fucking care about. Thank you for watching this episode of The Left Wing. We were a little off the rails today, partially because we didn't have our scheduled guest, and we had the wonderful Heather, Conservatory of the Ozarks, join us as a fill-in. Heather, if people want to keep listening to you, I know that your content isn't typically political, but how about you tell them where they can find you?
Oh, my channel is called Conservatory of the Ozarks, and if they want to learn how to like expand their area epiglottic sphincter while they're phonating, I am the channel for that. But otherwise, probably just stick with the left wing or powers taken, not given, or counterpoint politics, because they probably are more what we're looking for. I'm so sorry to all of you.
Thank you for that, Heather. By the way, folks, the epiglottic sphincter is up here. That's probably not the one you were thinking of. It's a different
That wasn't what I was thinking of either, TJ.
Okay, just so you guys know.
It's in your lyrics.
I was thinking you were doing Kegels while you were singing, Heather.
No, that is not what Heather was talking about. She is a voice coach, so yeah.
I do talk about the pelvic floor quite a bit on my channel. So if that is of interest to you.
All right, before we get banned from YouTube, let's close out the show. Any other longtime listeners that would like to be part of the show, email us and John. We'll see if we can get you on. We'll make you a star. Catch you guys later. Raffle. All right, good game, folks. That was